Yum Yum Donuts is not creative for a restaurant. However, it is the largest chain of privately owned donut shops in the United States. The chain is competing with the biggest brands in the United States, and it is holding its own. How did the chain do it? Watch this video to find out. Philip C. Holland had a massive interest in the donut business, and this interest came when he visited North Carolina. It was there that Philip met Vernon Rudolph, the founder of Krispy Kreme. Rudolph created his business in 1937, and Philip wanted what Rudolph had. But there was an issue. Krispy Kreme had become big in the industry, and if Philip was going to do what Kreme did, he had to do it far away. In 1971, Philip C. Holland founded Yum Yum Donuts at Avenue 26 and Figueroa Street in the Cypress Park district in Los Angeles, California. His store sat in a former Orange Julius location. Yeah, he doesn't get an A+ for the choice of his name, and a comedian made fun of the company because of this. Jim Gaffigan, a stand-up comedian, joked that the founder didn't think too much about the name of his business and must have used an IQ in thinking of the name. Ouch! But Gaffigan didn't mean this maliciously. However, he is concerned about the name that when he wrote his book, Food, a Love Story, he talked about the name again. Gaffigan really doesn't like the company's name. While Philip might not get an A for the name, he was determined to get a distinction in management, so he put an advertisement in the papers for anyone who would work for him as a manager. Through that newspaper ad, Philip met Frank Wattese, and he hired the man to manage his store. By 1973, Philip had expanded his stores to 3, and Wattese soon became a partner when Philip sold half of his company to Wattese. With Wattese coming on board, the store massively expanded, opening over 100 stores, all in California. Philip knew he couldn't compete head-on against Krispy Kreme and Dunkin' Donuts, but how did he achieve this? Watch on, and if you like to learn about the history of your favorite eateries, be sure to subscribe for more content like this. After their business's success, founder Philip C. Holland got tired. In 1989, he retired, selling his share in the business to his partner Frank Wattese. Frank brought his son Lincoln aboard the business, and the two maintained the success that the company had achieved. The company made itself a household name with its food, but let's get to that later. To fund its expansion, the chain made the amount of money needed cheaper than usual. Franchise owners only needed between $3,400 to $71,700. The company doesn't even collect initial franchise fees. However, unlike some companies that allow the franchise owner to sell their units to someone else, Yum Yum Donuts franchisees can't. They don't acquire any ownership interest in the capital assets of the chain they can sell or transfer to a third party. The chain does the heavy lifting for its franchise owners, as it bears the upfront costs that are associated with starting a business. As the chain expected, it retained customer interest with its menu, which customers describe as expensive. Whatever a customer wants, they can get. While Yum Yum Donuts is a donut chain, they have a variety that would satisfy different customer tastes. The chain sells muffins, croissants, and sandwiches. It also sells different donut-related foods like twists, maple bars, fritters, bear claws, and cake donuts. All these options come in different forms according to customer preferences. They can be topped, filled, sprinkled, and frosted. Apart from the food items, the chain has different kinds of beverages. Yum Yum Donuts doesn't hold back at all, does it? And it's interesting that the business can maintain a large menu. Some restaurants crumble under the weight of their large menu and need to streamline. While the chain continuously evolved its menu and filled it up with different food and beverages, it didn't evolve its look that much. You would think the business would try to change its look with the big competition it faced. However, it is precisely because of that competition that the business chose to maintain its retro look. The chain wants to be unique and not have the corporate feel its competition Dunkin' Donuts has. The company's unit looks like a neighborhood mom-and-pop shop, but it really isn't. After all, it is the largest privately owned donut chain in America, with the Wattese family owning it. You probably have your face turned at this, but the key word is privately owned. If you are thinking that the biggest should be Dunkin' Donuts, which has around 8,500 locations in the US and an additional 3,200 locations internationally, you are correct. However, Inspire Brands owns Dunkin' Donuts, just as JAB Holdings owns Krispy Kreme. Yum Yum Donuts' other smaller competitors like Duck Donuts and Shipley Donuts are all owned by corporations. Do you see that the chain is tactical with its mom-and-pop vibes? The chain continued to be successful and began to go after its direct competitor, Winchell's Donuts. Vern Winchell founded Winchell's Donuts in 1948, and it was primarily a Californian business. Winchell was the go-to place for Californians, and when Yum Yum Donuts came in the 1970s, the two battled for dominance. It looked like Winchell was winning the battle. While Yum Yum Donuts was rooted in California, Winchell's grew to have hundreds of locations in different states in the US and crossed into other countries. Then, everything came crashing down for the business in the 80s as it passed from one buyer to the other. No matter the buyer, Winchell's just couldn't work, and in 2004, Yum Yum Donuts decided to buy its competitor. At the time, Winchell's had 200 locations, and the number reduced even more as Yum Yum Donuts closed down locations that weren't performing. While the chain hasn't come back to prominence, it's hanging in there. It looks like Yum Yum Donuts was doing something right as it cautiously managed its former competitor. Unfortunately, the donut chain's caution didn't help when one of its staff faced a deadly situation. In 2016, an armed perpetrator held one of Yum Yum Donuts' staff at gunpoint and demanded that the staff give him all the money in the register. The thief took the money and ran. Fortunately, he didn't hurt the staff. The company continued to operate and dealt with its bad times. When Frank Wattase died in 2020, his son continued to lead the company as its president. Yum Yum Donuts began from the founder's interest in the donut industry. However, the chain has managed to continue to operate despite being in the same market with competition like Dunkin' Donuts. Yum Yum Donuts faced its competition by limiting its operations to California, and it has worked out well for it. But do you think operating in California is enough, or should the business expand outside the state? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to support our channel.